Making the news tonight, Nigeria domesticates African women's financial and economic inclusion. Ekiti State Governor Kayode Fayemi revalidates membership in All Progressives Congress. Plus, Nigeria joins other West African countries in cashew production, processing and exports. Details shortly. A very good evening to you and welcome to the news at 7. I am Cecilia Julius. Now to the news in full. Nigeria has joined other West African countries in a cashew development project aimed at adding value to production, processing and export of cashew. Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development Mohammed Sabo Nanono constituted a committee that will work with relevant partners in the project. Musa Baba Aliu reports.
Nigeria leads other African countries in cashew nut production, producing more than 240,000 tons annually. In 2019, Nigeria exported raw cashew nut worth more than 190 billion naira. These agricultural commodity analysts say it's insignificant considering the country's potential in the cash crop production. The Pro-Cashew project is therefore designed as a 5-year plan to enhance production and marketing of cashew and its byproducts in Nigeria, Ghana, Burkina Faso, Cote d'Ivoire, and Benin Republic.
We have a lot of resource base in this country. And I think anything in the agricultural sector, this country can be able to accommodate it.
At the end of the project, it is expected that cashew yield will increase by 10% in the 5 participating countries, and more than $100 million worth of cashew nuts will be exported. In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
And still on agriculture, barely few days into the second month of 2021, business activities are to pick up in the market as traders and customers decry high costs of a staple widely consumed by Nigerians. Correspondent Bernie Achibong visited markets in Calabar to ascertain the situation of things considering the soaring price of garri, and now reports.
As food prices are surging in the midst of second wave of COVID-19, the price of a key staple, garri, is soaring high due to several factors. Some of these factors include lockdown occasioned by COVID-19 pandemic, unfavorable climate conditions, as well as being in the planting season for cassava, which is used in garri production. These are some of the concerns of traders.
The prices of garri is because the farmers are not enough. We don't have enough garri. That is why the people that eat garri is more than the farmers. So government should put effort to do farm and produce garri to help farmers.
Now it's farmer time. People will enter farm. As they want to enter farm, things will change. This garri will cost price like this.
Though the cost of most foodstuffs had already been inching upward, how do people eat well without compromising quality, flavor, or nutrition? Any substitute for garri?
I believe garri is a cassava. You understand? Garri is also like something that everybody can afford. It is not rice that they will say the custom has seized it. So selling garri 200 naira is very wrong. Let them come down. At least 4 cup, 200 naira is okay. But now we are buying it 3 cups, 200 naira. Please, they should just understand with the masses.
Whether it's the transport that is causing it or the producer of the cassava, we don't know why it is, because it's on the high side. We can't even buy again.
I pray that government should help us to reduce so that a common people like us can follow and eat gari.
Business operators and consumers have expressed dissatisfaction over the negative impact of surging prices of major staples in the market by almost 100%. In Calabar, Benny Achibong, NTA News.
The act of female genital mutilation has been described as a violation of the human rights of women and girls, and a barbaric act that should be abolished in the 21st century. Health experts who stated this also highlighted the numerous dangers of this act. Ifeoma Ayoje reports.
Female genital mutilation, otherwise known as FGM, being the partial or total removal of the female external genitalia or other injury to the female genital organs for non-medical reasons, according to the World Health Organization, is a violation of the human rights of girls and women. Although this act, which has been on for ages, is said to be grossly underreported, the World Health Organization records that more than 200 million girls and women alive today have been caught in 30 countries in Africa, the Middle East and Asia, where FGM is mostly practiced.
Female genital mutilation is a serious public health problem. And in as much as it's not being talked about so much these days, it does exist. People still practice.
While female genital mutilation adds no value to health, experts in obstetrics and gynecology lament the immediate and long-term challenges this act poses to the girls and women.
In the immediate term, you may have bleeding because they are cutting or piercing something. You may have infections. When the wound heals, you may have keloids, difficulty in passing urine, urinary tract infection, and other issues that may come up.
She doesn't enjoy sexual pleasure when she has her female genitals mutilated, and there's the problem of pregnancy, the complications during pregnancy, even the problem of the infection after the...
With the theme, No Time for Global Inaction, unite, fund and act to end FGM to nip this ill against women in the bud.
We should create awareness, go to these communities, speak to them on the risks involved, the disadvantages, the complications that may result following a female genital mutilation.
Especially medical personnel who now do this can stop. When individuals who engage in the practice become scarce, the practice dies away naturally.
It does not help any woman at all. Instead, it makes the woman have a lot of pain, so, psychological pain, and also she goes through the trauma of difficult delivery and also the infections and the other complications that arise as a result of it. So it's barbaric and should not be in anybody's culture at all.
Why do they even do it? What's the reason for female genital mutilation? I think it's inhumane. I think you're robbing a girl child of something very valuable, and it should be abolished.
If you want to drive sexual chastity, it's just to impute in the ladies the right values of how they should carry themselves, and that will be all. But going ahead to mutilate doesn't help and doesn't stop women from being loose.
Ekiti State Governor Dr. Kayode Fayemi has said the All Progressive Party will always work towards the success of all policies and programs of the federal government. Dr. Fayemi, who is also the chairman Nigeria Governors Forum, gave the indication while revalidating his party's membership at his hometown, Ishon, Ekiti. Ayode Ogunsakin reports that the senator representing Ekiti Central Senatorial District Opeyemi Bamidele also joined in revalidating her membership.
As the APC membership registration and revalidation exercise continue across the country, the state governor, who is also the chairman Governors Forum, Dr. Fayemi and his wife, joined other members to revalidate their membership at their unit 11 at Ishen-Ekiti. Dr. Fayemi enjoined party members to ensure mobilization for the exercise, most especially at the grassroots for the success of the party at future elections.
The process has been seamless. My expectation is that every other person who comes in to register or revalidate their registration in our party.
Similarly, Senator representing Ekiti Central Senatorial District and the Chairman Senate Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters, Senator Opeyemi Bamidele, also revalidated his party membership at Ekiti Ward B, as he described the exercise as affirmation of the cardinal principle of democracy the APC preaches.
The issues that confront us as a country, but for APC to be able to further address this, there is a need for the party also to further entrench itself on the minds of Nigerians, entrench itself on the streets of Nigeria.
Other members of the party are equally revalidating their membership at the various designated centers in the state. From Ado-Ekiti, Ayode Jogunshakin, NTA News.
Nigeria has domesticated the African Union New Decade for African Women's Financial and Economic Inclusion. This was at the seal of partnership between African Union, Economic, Social and Cultural Council Nigeria and non-governmental organizations in Abuja. Adebola Brooklyn Sunday reports.
2020 to 2030 was declared the new decade for African women's financial and economic inclusion to make sure that women attain human dignity and break the chains of oppression. At the sideline of the 37th Heads of State and Government Summit of the African Union, the domestication in Nigeria is to serve as a working instrument to improve and expand women and girl child financial, economic, social, and political landscape.
The nexus between gender equality, peace and development, economic empowerment on the African continent can wholly be attained if women occupy high political and social positions.
DOMI is a panacea to the disadvantaged position in which women have found themselves over time in our society because of our structure and gender marginalization sustained by this arrangement.
Minister for Women Affairs Pauline Tallen said her ministry is drawing support from development partners to address the average performance, challenges and chances for Nigerian women and girls towards contributing to the development of the continent.
The need for appropriate segmentation within the agricultural business chain, beyond subsistence farming, will also aid towards policy literacy within the sector to enable women to also make informed decisions across all levels within the sector.
Programs in the north.
The forum called on other African countries to replicate what Nigeria has done for the maximization of investment in women on the continent. Adebola Brooklyn Sunday, NTA News.
Still on international matters, the United Nations Human Rights Council has urged Myanmar military to immediately release the detained leader Aung San Suu Kyi and other senior officials. Adebola Brooklyn Sunday reports that the draft resolution was adopted by consensus by the United Nations Human Rights Council in Geneva, Switzerland.
The draft resolution on human rights implications of the crisis in Myanmar was tabled by the United Kingdom and the European Union before it was unanimously adopted.
Let us be clear. The indiscriminate use of lethal or less than lethal weapons against peaceful protesters is unacceptable. More violence against Myanmar's people will only compound the illegitimacy of the coup and the culpability of its leaders.
I now take it that the Council agrees that the proposed modalities and included decision will be applied during the 29th special session under the current circumstances. I see no objection. It is so decided.
Protesters have been gathering, holding placards and chanting slogans asking for the release of those detained. A 1-year state of emergency has been declared by the Myanmar military after alleging massive voting fraud in the November 2020 general elections. Allegations the Myanmar's Union Election Commission dismissed. Adebola, Brooklyn Sunday, NTA News.
We'll take a break now. We'll be back after this commercial. Please don't go away.
Una no vex. Una never hear of coronavirus. Prevention is better pass cure. See this thing. Hand sanitizer. Now one way to take prevent coronavirus with that. See, another one we say we go wash our hands clean with soap and with water. Another one we say when we want sneeze, we want cough. Oh yeah, may we dab together. Correct people. If you see say you get symptom of fever or difficulty in breathing, abeg make you dey your day, make you sit down. Nigeria, our culture dey promote cleanliness. Let the celebration party.
This message is from NTA and NCAC.
Members of the public with any complaint concerning any of our programs should forward their complaints to the Nigerian Television Authority, Channel 9 Murtala Mohammed Iwi Calabar. Phone numbers 0906 198 3183, 0906 883 6550. Email address ntacalabar@nca.gov.ng or to the National Broadcasting Commission NBC, plus 32 Parliamentary Housing Estate, Second Gate behind Zanzibar Hotel, Calabar. Telephone number 0818 445 9924. Email address nbccalabar@yahoo.com. Signed, Management of the National Broadcasting Commission.
Welcome back. It's good to know you are still with us. If you're just joining us, this is the NTA News at 7, right from our studios in Calabar. Now to the rest of the news. Aggressive sensitization and enforcement of strict compliance with the COVID-19 protocols will go a long way to promote preventive behaviors among citizens and reduce the severity of second wave of the pandemic. This is the view of some Nigerians on the second wave of the pandemic and the seriousness that citizens need to apply in combating the disease. Justina Etham reports.
Like any other viral disease, COVID-19 in its second wave is more difficult to tackle. Given this scenario, it is obvious that the major factor that may have fueled the spike in cases of the pandemic is a negative human behavior contrary to laid-down protocols. At a time when the Nigeria Center for Disease Control is raising concerns over a second wave and accessing hope offered by the arrival of the vaccine is still days ahead, how aware and serious are Nigerians in the handling of the second wave?
I don't joke with that. If you go to my car there, you see the hand sanitizer. I wash my hand as often as possible. Here in school, before you enter the gate, you must have your nose mask. And even in my class, if you don't have your nose mask, I send you out.
They are very aware because if you go to churches, they do follow some guidelines.
A drive round Calabar metropolis shows that while majority are adhering to the stipulated protocols, some have thrown caution to the wind by continuing to live their normal lives.
When you are going with masks like this, they even look at you like a mad person.
Others who have believed, and they believe that it is dangerous, and they are already following the measures given by the NCDC.
As the COVID-19 pandemic continues to rage, health experts advocate strict adherence to protocols, especially now that the presidential executive order is in full force. In Calabar, Justina Etham, NTA News.
Still on COVID-19 matters, the federal government has taken steps to strengthen the COVID-19 response system across the country. The recent is a law signed by President Muhammadu Buhari prescribing a 6-month jail term for those faulting COVID-19 safety protocols put in place by health authorities to curb the spread of the virus. Uduak Etem reports that the move by the president has not only generated reactions from Nigerians in Cross River State, but is checking activities of Nigerians as regards the spread of the pandemic.
Recently released cases of the COVID-19 updates by the Nigeria Center for Disease Control have become alarming as the second wave of the virus continues. The federal government since 2020 has taken numerous measures to cushion the impact of the pandemic and also curb the spread of the virus. However, some of the policy responses may have not been taken seriously by some Nigerians, and this probably made President Muhammadu Buhari to sign a law prescribing a 6-month jail term for those violating COVID-19 protocols. The law provides for the maintenance of social distancing, compulsory wearing of face masks, and strict adherence to other protocols. Either way, Nigerians in Calabar react differently on the law and the penalty involved.
Any society that is without law or rule or regulation, people are bound to be careless because there are no measures to check them, And so, health is wealth and is very important. And so the duty of the president and the government is to protect lives and property. And so whatever rule or regulation that will ensure that lives are protected, I think is in order.
Let me start, use myself an example. As you can see, I put on my face mask properly. So as a Nigerian, as a good citizen, you must observe the necessary protocol, all the guidelines that are necessary for us to survive as a country.
I don't see it as a witch hunt. I see it as it's something we have to do, even though we are not even told, even without the punishment, it's something we are supposed to do, because if we get infected, it's our problem, not his. So he has actually done very well. Muhammadu Buhari have done pretty well.
For the Cross River State government, the COVID-19 monitoring team is at work to ensure residents of the state adhere strictly to the safety protocols.
Tax team made up of CAN that goes around on Sundays to ensure that churches are enforcing the use of face masks in public places. We have a tax team that is in charge of the Islamic religious group, and they go around to enforce this too. So really, as much as possible, we have different sub-teams that are going around doing that work.
Health experts and well-meaning individuals are advising Nigerians to comply with the safety measures, as the law is not to witch hunt citizens, but it is established as a way of getting the people to stay safe and live healthy lives. In Calabar, Uduak Etam, NTA News.
The importance of safety for motorists and daily commuters who board minibuses in the city of Calabar has become a thing of concern, not just to the passengers, but also to other road users. It is observed that minibus drivers are in the habit of leaving their doors open while moving from one bus stop to the other in search of passengers. Correspondents sampled public opinions on the implications of this trend. With the ban on motorcycles plying major highways in Calabar, taxis and minibuses have become one of the major sources of public transportation in the metropolis. It is therefore being observed that most minibus drivers do not shut the doors of their buses while on transit, which many say it is high risk, especially for vulnerable people such as children and pregnant women. Is this trend an emulation of some cities in Nigeria? Let us get the opinions of residents in Calabar who patronize this mode of transportation.
It's very risky, especially to women like us, who sometimes when you're entering, some men don't know culture. They let the women sit by the doorpost, which is very risky to us. And then at the end of the day, the driver ends up not locking the door. So I think government should take precautions measures on that.
They don't have conductors. That is the most important thing. So the easy way for them is to keep that door open and tie it. It's very, very risky. Very, very risky. It's not safe. It's not safe at all.
It's not safe, especially with pregnant women. If you know that your minibus does not have a door that is good, you should try and fix it.
If they can enter park, because none of our motor here can load passenger and go without closing the door.
How can you drive motor without not to close the door? It's very risky, and the passengers that are entering the buses, most of them have not even just understand the way that they feel it.
My advice is that they should try to do it fine, to close the door so that people should be feel free.
NTA News crew interacted with some drivers of minibuses as they speak on the issue.
The door is not strong. To be opening it up and on, it will spoil. And second, you help the passengers to go out freely.
Normally, this is not a 18-seater bus. It's a short bus that we don't have a conductor. So we do open the doors in case of any emergency.
Despite the varied opinions of the public, the need for adequate safety for passengers is vital. Therefore, it is advisable for passengers in these buses to ensure their safety and avoid endangering themselves. In Calabar, Cecilia Julius, NTA News. And to sports, Tamara Ebiwe is standing up with updates.
Welcome to Sports Update. We begin with golf, where 64 senior amateur players are set to vie for honors at the Maiden Golf Sixes Nigeria 2021 tournament, which tees off on Saturday at the TYB International Golf Resort and Country Club in Abuja.
The match play, alternate shots, green sum format, is not common, it's new. So that's going to be introduced, and they will experience it, and I'm sure they will like the format and enjoy the game.
Away from golf now, continental football returns on the NTA Live this Sunday with the CAF Confederation Cup tie between Enyimba International and neighbors Rivers United in the first leg, second round preliminary match in Aba. Both Nigerian clubs are meeting for the first time on this stage. Staying with football, action continues in the Premier League this weekend with Crystal Palace welcoming Burnley at the Selhurst Park. The match will be live on NTA at 4 p.m. on Saturday. Other fixtures will see Manchester City up against Tottenham with Jose Mourinho's pride at stake yet again. Arsenal play Leeds United on Sunday, while Thomas Tuchel, Chelsea's manager, hopes to extend his winning run against Newcastle on Monday. Finally, Bayern Munich are still celebrating their 6th trophy in 9 months after winning the Club World Cup in Qatar on Thursday, to complete a clean sweep of trophies after a treble last season. This is the 8th year in a row that a European club has won the FIFA Club World Cup. And that's Sports Update. I am Tamara Ebiwe.
And with sports wraps up our bulletin for you tonight. But before we go, a recap of major stories. Nigeria has domesticated the African Union for African women's financial and economic inclusion with the seal of partnership between African Union Economic, Social and Cultural Council of Nigeria. Ekiti State Governor Kayode Fayemi and some National Assembly members from states have revalidated their membership of the All Progressives Congress. It was also in the news that Nigeria has joined other West African countries in cashew development project aimed at adding value to the production, processing and export of the crop. That's all we have for you tonight. Thank you for watching. Do have a good night. I am Cecilia Julius.